Yo, face. Show your face, please. With sugar on top.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, make sure you check us out on Patreon at www.patreon.com/hookah_anonymous. You guys been telling us to create one for the longest, so we recently created a community where we will upload videos that we can't share on YouTube due to their guidelines, but we'll also be dropping the latest to there first, behind the scenes information that you wouldn't find anywhere else on our socials. So make sure you become a member, and after you do that, head over to our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _ and follow us there. Now, without further ado, let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, just when we thought that the Julio Foolio case was over, after we seen everybody trolling, the music videos being done, everybody pointing fingers at who had something to do with it, who didn't have something to do with it, a whole bunch of social media detectives, it's now coming out that it's more people that was involved in the situation than we actually thought. And it's kind of crazy because, like I told y'all before, one thing when it comes to the feds, they're going to do their due diligence. One thing about the feds, if they're on the case, 9 times out of 10, they're going to get a conviction rate. 9 times out of 10, they know more than what they're telling you. 9 times out of 10, whatever evidence or surveillance videos or whatever it is you see before trial or before anything, that's not all they have. So your best bet is if you see any evidence against you or anything that you see that could potentially put you behind bars or involve you in the commission of a crime, your best bet is to just plead out. Now, as y'all know, the whole KTA versus ATK thing in Florida is so big that it don't matter what happens to either group. If something happens to KTA, they're going to think ATK did it. If something happens to ATK, they're going to think KTA did it. This is exactly what happened when Julio Foolio lost his life while attending a party where he was allegedly set up, and fingers automatically started pointing towards Yungeen Ace. He didn't make it any better because he would go on to make a bunch of videos trolling the death of Foolio, but then things got a little weird when law enforcement will hold conferences and include Yungeen Ace's name along with ATK. Now, like I told y'all before, it's one thing when social media is putting 2 and 2 together and they're coming up with certain narratives and saying this and that, but it's another thing when you have law enforcement saying similar things in social media. Now, as far as that, today we have another suspect who may have played a part in Julio Foolio's demise, where it's not clear cut where he did, but as y'all know, the feds picked this case up, and according to investigations, his name came up as well as his phone number and Cashapp. Now, since the beginning, the feds been on this case, which is kind of weird because usually when somebody lose their life, it don't become federal unless the feds have already been involved or something that just involves the feds, period. For the feds to already be on this case from the beginning tells us that maybe there was already an investigation going on, which is why a lot of people felt that after Julio Foolio's death, that a RICO was coming for ATK and Yungeen Ace. However, as of today, another Florida rapper have been included in the whole investigation who goes by the name of J. Breezy. Now we're going to get into his affiliation with everything, and for y'all that thought that that case was over, this just goes to prove that them people are still doing investigations, they're still doing their due diligence, and I'm sure that in due time, we'll probably get a lot of surprising information that'll come out. A lot of people seen a few things in the beginning and thought that that was it, but clearly they're still going at it, so I guess more stuff will unveil in the future. But as for right now, make sure you hit that thumbs up button so we can get this video into the algorithm, and if you're not subscribed to the platform already, make sure you do so now. Let's get into it. Now, shout out to Yada3times on Instagram because they're the first people I've seen with these documents, which includes the discovery within the case of Julio Foolio and the alleged suspects. In the discovery, it includes digital files pulled from the investigation showing evidence of Apple iClouds, iCloud subpoenas, Cashapp subpoenas, Instagram and Instagram subpoenas, the whole 9 yards. Now, this would include the people of interest within the case, and although we never heard of J. Breezy being included as one of the suspects in the case, whoever obtained the discovery pointed out that he was forced to also subpoena his phone number, Instagram, and Cashapp. Now, before we go forward, for y'all that don't know what a discovery is when it comes to a court case, it's a document or a motion filed where the opposing person, whether it's the defendant or the DA, they have to give up whatever information that they have against you. Which means it's like you showing your hand. You let them know what you have right now so your attorney could know how to defend you. They usually use a discovery to know what's up against you so they could know how to properly set up their defense and then let you know whether it's a good idea to go forward with trial or to not, because they got too much evidence against you and maybe you just need to take a plea. That's my definition of it, but when you search on Google in the correct definition to the T, it will tell you, quote, "A discovery occurs before a trial begins when each side needs to put forth evidence or request documentation the other party has in their possession. Discovery in court is forcing the opponent to show all of their pieces or all of their cards on the table." So yeah, pretty much the same definition. Now, according to the discovery, when it comes to the case of Julio Foolio, I guess they're moving to where they're about to go to trial and we're about to see who's getting charged with what, the major key players and who behind whatever. So I guess now the discovery has came out and people got their hands on it. Or somebody simply filed for it and it got into the wrong hands and somebody exposed it, whatever. However, now we get to see who's included, and surprisingly, Breezy has been included in the discovery, which means maybe he's a person of interest and maybe he will be treated as a suspect. Here's why. Yada 3 times will bring up the discovery and they will point out that Jacory Rivers, aka Breezy's iCloud was subpoenaed. Not only was his iCloud subpoenaed, but his Instagram was subpoenaed. And not only was his Instagram subpoenaed, but so was his Cashapp. So what does this tell us? Now, before we even make any type of accusations or allegations, we do know that the only time you have to subpoena anything, or they want to look into your phone logs, your text messages, your social medias, usually you are a person of interest. Now, why would you be a person of interest if they didn't feel that you had something to do with the crime? Unless they feel that you do. Now, these are all rhetorical questions because I'm just trying to make sure you guys see where I'm going with this. 9 times out of 10, if his Instagram was subpoenaed, his phone records were subpoenaed, the iCloud, the Cashapp, they feel that he had something to do with it. Now, his involvement wasn't made public, and I didn't even know that he had something to do with this case up until now, but as y'all know, that's how the feds play. This is why before you get to trial, you must know what's going on. Because once you take it to trial, there's no turning back. And as soon as you blow, because they got evidence that you never even knew that they had, now you're looking at way more time than you was initially looking at when they offered you the plea agreement, and plus you made them spend a lot of money on trial. So they're not holding back on you. Now, for the ones wondering why Breezy is anything of an interest, or why is it important, or why anybody talking about this, it's because Breezy is also affiliated with who else? Yungeen. So it kind of makes sense when you hear that they're looking at his Cash Apps. I personally think 9 times out of 10, if they're looking at his Cash App, they're trying to see if he accepted any money for a possible hit, or who knows? I don't know, but they're looking into his Cash Apps. They're looking into his text messages and his phone to see who he's texting, who he's affiliated with, what he said. It's crazy. So I don't know what's going on, y'all, but it seems like the walls are starting to slowly cave in, and we might potentially see a situation where you laugh now, but you definitely gonna cry later. Now, y'all don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about all this going on. Do y'all think Breezy had anything to do with it? Or maybe the police just reaching? Who knows? Y'all jump in the comments, let us know what y'all think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'ma keep on dropping. I'm out.